collapse of a number of industries is one of the worst experiences Kafue has ever encountered in its history. And we pray and we hope and we shall do it as a New Dawn government. We shall ensure that these industries are revived.
Mr. Mapushi has since held a Kafue constituency's contribution towards the democracy for 50 years.
This anniversary is being commemorated under the theme 50 years of parliamentary democracy in Kafue. This event is not just about reflecting on the past 50 years, but also the present and redefining the future that we as a community want for the next 50 years. Let us work together to overcome the challenges we face and create a brighter future for our children. Let us remember that our collective efforts will determine our constituency's prosperity in the years to come.
And speaking earlier, Kafue Member of Parliament, Mrs. Miriam Chonya, paid tribute to her predecessors who served at the constituency since its establishment in 1973.
This constituency has been home to a diverse and lively community for the last 50 years and beyond. Many things have changed throughout the years, but one thing has stayed constant: our dedication to creating a better future for ourselves, our families, and our communities. The purpose for commemorating our Golden Jubilee is simply to appreciate our history as a community in Kafue. It has been an occasion to honor and acknowledge the contributions made by men and women who have served this constituency before. And this includes the former members of parliament, former civic leaders, and other prominent residents who dedicated their time and energy to providing their honorable service to Kafue and shape it into what it is today.
In giving a vote of thanks, former Kafue District Council Chairperson Mrs. Catherine Chapeshamano thanked the organizing committee for organizing a number of activities to celebrate the existence of the constituency for 50 years now.
I want to convey our sincere appreciation on behalf of our Member of Parliament for having accepted to come and grace this occasion this afternoon to celebrate with the people of Kafue the 50th anniversary of Kafue constituency. As the Honorable explained, she came up with the idea that we celebrate 50 years. That is a milestone that we have achieved as Kafue, and she thought we could celebrate this day with the members of the community so that we come together as members of one family. Thank you to all Kafue residents for having turned up to celebrate and commemorate these activities. Your support is most appreciated. Thank you very much.
Members of the public are therefore encouraged to visit their constituency offices to access more information on the role of a Member of Parliament and many other related parliamentary issues.
50 years of parliamentary democracy in Kafue. Today we flag off the March past as we celebrate the Golden Jubilee for Kafue constituency.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and Parliament Radio. For more information, call 0977 854102 or 0977 536487. Parliament Television, bringing Parliament closer to you.
Very much.
much for your viewership. This is Parliament Television, the only station that brings Parliament closer to you. Live debates of the House will be coming shortly at 14:30 hours. And to be with you on live transmission, my name is Pauline Monga.
And I'm Julius Samsumali. Good afternoon. To walk you through, begin by looking at business that the House considered yesterday, which started with an announcement that Madam First Deputy Speaker made. And in the announcement, Madam First Deputy Speaker acquainted in the House with the presence in the public gallery of the following honorable members of the Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development and staff from the Parliament of Uganda. And these were Honorable Flavor Kambehenda, MP, chairperson and leader of the delegation. Also had Honorable Sarah Najuma, MP, deputy chairperson. Honorable Sowedi Kitanywa, MP, member. Honorable Peg Wako, MP, member. Others were Honorable Susan Abeja, MP, member, and Honorable Phileas Chemutai, member, and Miss Martha Kangazi, secretary to the delegation. Madam First Deputy Speaker then, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, received the distinguished guests and warmly welcomed them to the National Assembly.
Yes, Julius said after the announcement on the visitors from Uganda, there was another announcement rendered by the Honorable Madam Speaker, Madam First Deputy Speaker, and she recognized in the presence in the public gallery of the pupils from Mukwela Primary School in Kalomo District. And on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam First Deputy Speaker welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
Then followed matters of urgent public importance. The first one did come from Honorable Chibuye, and this was on the death of a suspect in police custody in Mukushi North Parliamentary Constituency. And when this matter was raised, it was inadmissible as it did not meet the criteria on which it can be admitted as a matter of urgent public importance.
Another matter of urgent public importance came from Mr. Naveta Hebert, and this was on the killing of a 15-year-old boy by ZNS officers in Kankoyo Parliamentary Constituency, and this matter was also not admissible.
Nalolo Member of Parliament Mr. Imanga Wamunyima also raised an issue, and this was on an article in the News Diggers newspaper dated 21st November 2023, which alleged that official creditors had rejected the Zambian government's revised agreement with bond holders. The matter equally was inadmissible.
After that, there was a ministerial statement that was rendered by the Minister of Health, Honorable Sylvia Masebo, and this was on the 2023 recruitment exercise of 3,000 health workers countrywide, and briefed the House on the status and criteria being used in the recruitment process.
After that, we had two questions for oral answer. The first question was understanding order number 76, which is a category of urgent nature, and this numbered question number 146. And then we also had one question, understanding order number 74, a category of questions for oral answer of an ordinary nature, and this was question number 147.
And after that, there was a presentation of a government bill, and this is the Local Government Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2023. And the object of the bill is to amend the Local Government Act of 2019. And of course, this was presented by the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. It was read the first time and referred to the Joint Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs, as well as the local government accounts for further examination. And a report of the report of the committee is expected to be presented to the House by 7th December 2023.
The Minister of Justice presented the Subordinates Court Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2022, which was later referred to the Committee on Legal Affairs, Human Rights Governance and Governance for further examination, and the report is expected to be brought back to the House by Thursday, 7th December 2023.
And the Trademarks Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2023 was considered in committee, and this is National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2023. Of course, it was considered yesterday in committee.
Then the House resolved into Committee of Supply to continue consideration of estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional and statutory expenditure. The head that was considered first was head 18, judiciary and approved the budget allocation of 890,697,821 kwacha.
Head 31 Ministry of Justice was also considered, and a total amount of 1,180,317,844 was agreed to.
Under consideration when the business was interrupted was Head 53, Minister of Green Economy and Environment, and the business was interrupted just as it was about 1840, and progress on the other heads that were considered was reported, but debate stood adjourned, and so we expect Head 53 to be considered later on today. Just about now, we'll take a short break. We'll be back on the other side as we look at today's order paper.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and Parliament Radio. For more information, call 0977 854102 or 0977 536487. Parliament Television, bringing Parliament closer to you.
Welcome back, and we look at the business of the order on the order paper today, Wednesday, 22nd November 2023, and business will begin shortly at 14:30 hours. In total, we have one question actually on that will be considered understanding order 76, and we have two bills to be considered, and then thereafter the House is expected to continue with the estimates of revenue and expenditure.
Right, Mr. Tuasa Kasarengo, Member for Parliament, has directed this question to the Minister of Agriculture, and he wants to find out why the government has delayed to deliver outstanding farming inputs for the 2021-2022 farming season, despite the assurances given earlier. And in Part B, he wants to find out what urgent measures are being taken to ensure that the farming inputs are delivered for utilization in the 2023-2024 farming season.
The House is also expected to consider the Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2023, and this will be considered at a second reading stage.
The Judicial Training Institute of Zambia Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2023, comes up for consideration at a committee stage.
And thereafter, the House will continue, of course, to consider the estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional as well as statutory expenditure. And of course, there's expected to be resumption of committee work, and under consideration coming for consideration today, Head 53, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. We also expect the House to consider Head 46, which is the Ministry of Health.
We also have Head 14, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, and thereafter we expect the House to consider Head 33, Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. And so that basically shapes up the business for the House. One question for oral answer, understanding order number 76. We have two bills to be considered, one at second reading stage, one at committee stage. Then the House will resolve into Committee of Supply to continue consideration of estimates of revenue and expenditure. And those are the four heads that I lined up for consideration, beginning with the head that was not concluded yesterday. This is Head 53, Minister of Green Economy and Environment. Very shortly we expect the procession by the presiding officer to make way into the House, and that will signify the beginning of today's business. Just about now, we'll take you to the floor of the House as the procession makes its way into the House.
Madam Speaker.
And then sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those good men. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun. Oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessings descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I have an announcement to make. I wish to recognize in the public gallery of the pupils from Mukwela Primary School in Kalomo district of Southern Province. Okay. It's like they are not here. Okay. My apology for that. I was told that they will be here. They were split into two groups, but they are not yet here. Thank you. We move to matters of urgent public importance. The Honorable Member from Pika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to raise a matter of urgent public importance pursuant to Standing Order number 134. Madam Speaker, in Mpika, in an area called Kanyerere, gold was discovered, and there was a gold rush. Thousands of Zambians went to camp there in pursuit for mining. However, Madam Speaker, 4 days ago, security agencies went to the site and asked the people to leave immediately. Those who could manage, those who had nothing on the site left. But those with things decided to look for transport to transport their things back, things like equipment, merchandise, and other things. But security agencies could not allow them. And they started burning down those things. Everything were burnt, and others were chased in the mountains. They broke their legs. And some have gone missing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I therefore direct this matter of urgent public importance to the Minister of Mines. When gold was discovered, Madam Speaker, we requested for a stakeholders meeting to chart the way forward so that the mineral could benefit our area. However, we are seeing things that we have never seen before, of burning our people's goods. Others have gone missing. Others have broken their legs in running away from security agencies, Madam Speaker. Why would our people be subjected to this kind of a situation, Madam Speaker? I really seek your indulgence.
Thank you, Honorable Member from Pika. This matter came much earlier to this House, but the Honorable Member from Pika, can we have order? This matter was brought to the House. However, there was a different problem than what has been mentioned today. I don't know, since people are missing, they are scampered everywhere. The Honorable Minister of Mines, would you want to comment on this issue? The Honorable Minister of Mines is not here to comment. I'll ask maybe the Honorable Minister of Mines, who is not here, but will get the information, maybe to come and give us an update on how severe this problem is in Pika on Tuesday next week. We make progress. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to raise a matter of public urgent importance pursuant to Standing Order number 134, which I've rarely stood to raise the matter. But Madam Speaker, the people of Chichelewa in Bwana Mkubwa, the day before, I think yesterday, wanted to raise this matter. There was a stormy rain, which has left 6 to 7 families plus sleeping in the cold. And Madam Speaker, it's eminent that these families now, they don't have roofs on their houses. And I wish to direct this matter to the leader of government business. Madam Speaker, I seek your serious indulgence. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Looking at the pattern, usually during the rain season, we encounter a lot of these misfortunes. So I would advise the Honorable Member of Parliament for Bwana Mkubwa to quickly go to the office of the Vice President to seek for help. Otherwise, the other specifics about the problem, the Honorable Member can write a question that can be attended on the floor of the House. The last one, the Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise on this point this afternoon. The distribution of farming inputs, Madam Speaker. I was in my constituents and I discovered that there are a lot of challenges where people are spending more than 3 to 4 days just to access their packs. Madam Speaker, the minister, when he gave us a ministerial statement here, he said everything was in order and there shall never be any challenges in as far as redeeming the inputs is concerned. One of the things that I discovered, Madam Speaker, is that fertilizer is there, but there are no seeds. Madam Speaker, we all know that it is from these same peasant farmers that Zambia is able to feed itself. And Madam Speaker, I bemoan this challenge because I know that if this matter is not attended to quickly, we might have a problem in Chitambo and other areas like Mukushi, where I went and also saw the same situations, and also Mukushi South, which is Rwano. Madam Speaker, I need your serious indulgence on this matter. I thank you.
Thank you. Since the problem was brought already to the House, and there is also a question for oral answer under Standing Order 76, which is asking the Minister about the same issues that you've raised. So I would advise the Honorable Member just to make use of the question for oral answer number 148. The situations are the same. Thank you. We now make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 76. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question number 148. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa, Honorable Philemon Twasa, asking the Minister of Agriculture a two-part question. In A, why the government has delayed to deliver outstanding farming inputs for the 2021-2022 farming season, despite the assurances given earlier. In B, Madam Speaker, what urgent measures are being taken to ensure that the inputs are delivered for utilization in the 2023-2024 season? In response to the Honorable Member's questions, Madam Speaker, I wish to state as follows. In A, during the 2021-2023 farming season, one of the contracted companies, Neria Investments, had failed to supply 17,541.55 metric tons of both D-compound and urea fertilizer in Central, Eastern, Mochinga, and Northern provinces. This led to some of the farmers in the said provinces not to receive the fertilizer. Government has delayed to deliver outstanding farming inputs for the 2021-2022 farming season because the case is still in the courts of law, and the reconciliation process that the ministry has been undertaking to ascertain the affected farmers took time to complete. Currently, the evaluation is underway and the award of a contract to the suppliers is expected to be done upon completion of the procurement process. In B, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture plans to complete the procurement process by the end of November 2023 to ensure that farmers get their inputs in time for the 2023-2024 farming season. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa.
Madam Speaker, before I ask, maybe the minister, the acting minister, should stand up because he's talking about the 2023 November, doing procurement processes and so on, and we're already in 2023 November. And he's saying between 2021 and 2023. We are talking about 2021 and 2022. Maybe he should read through his answers before we ask him, because he is misleading. Everything that he's saying is not speaking to the question. That's the most unfortunate part, showing that this ministry is not ready to attend to the farmers in this country. Maybe he should read his answers again or the question. before we ask. He's not answering the question at all. Everything is distorted. Maybe I ask a question.
Order. Can the honorable member for Kasenengwa put that complaint in a question form so that we make progress? I hear what you are talking about, but can you please put it in a question form so that the minister would be able to respond? You may go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. Minister of Agriculture, the last time, he's the Minister of Agriculture, he accepted. The last time you stood here, you assured this country, in this house, on this floor, that the farmers were going to receive their farming inputs in the year 2022-2023 farming season for 2021-2022. And you gave us the figures, the statistics of the farmers who have not received the fertilizer in all the provinces. What other evaluations are you doing again, which you have just stated here, that you are still doing evaluations? What other evaluations? When statistics are there, and the farmers were assured, and according to you, you said, as I'm talking now, trucks are loading. Up to now, they have not arrived. What evaluations are you making when you already gave us the figures? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And obviously, perhaps just to advise the honourable member that there is absolutely no need to be emotive in this particular subject. What I have stated, and what we've stated before, Madam Speaker, is that prior to coming into office, the PF, as they then were in government, in 2020, had offered contracts to 5 contracting companies to supply fertilizer. Of those 5 contracting companies, Madam Speaker, 4 of them had specifically performed in the delivery of the fertilizers. Unfortunately, the 5th one, which was Neria, which had the biggest supply contract of 135,000 metric tons, had neglected, refused, and or ignored for the specific completion of that particular contract. This government, when it took over, found this particular backlog where we were bound by the contract signed by the previous administration. Be that as it may, we pursued Neria for their specific performance on this particular contract. Madam Speaker, from a deficit of about 75,000 metric tons, we had compelled them and persuaded them that at least we are now only sitting at 17,500 as a deficit. And seeing as time has lapsed, Madam Speaker, we have since discontinued to deal with that particular company and handed over the matter to state security agencies such as the Anti-Corruption Commission for them to pursue that particular issue. We as an administration are on course as far as our procurement program is concerned. Yes, the deficit may have posed a challenge, and we have, as an administration now, to ensure that even the 17,500 is brought on board so that no farmer is going to be left behind. As far as this current farming season is concerned, Madam Speaker, we are on course. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa, do you have another follow-up question? It's clear.
I have a question, Madam Speaker.
You can go ahead.
When are you giving the farmers their deficit or their arrears of the fertilizer? When? They want to know. Thank you.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, as I earlier stated, and if the honourable member was paying attention, the current procurement process is so advanced that we anticipate by the end of this week to have been complete with that particular process. I do anticipate that nothing later than the next fortnight that this deficit will have been filled up. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I sympathize with the acting minister. I wanted to find out from my minister, who's also my neighbor, that these, Madam Speaker, tenders were floated 3 months ago. And 3 months ago, if you look today, the dollar price, the exchange rate has escalated. And as we speak, most of the suppliers of fertilizer, they've reviewed their prices, Honorable Minister. How then are we going to mitigate that to ensure that these contracts are awarded and our people get the needed fertilizer in a quickest possible time? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think that suffice to say that the issue of the deficit really is a matter of an administrative issue. It's not a matter of bringing in fertilizer, which today is much more expensive than it would have been 3 months ago, Madam Speaker. I think that part of what we have already procured, Madam Speaker, is able to mitigate this particular shortage, and the Honourable Member need not worry. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the government is alive to the fact that the agriculture sector contributes about 20% to gross domestic product and also employ more than 3/4 of our population. Now, Minister, you have said that an area failed to deliver 17,500 metric tons of fertilizer. Now, this government has cancelled tenders 3 times. So, don't you think that the cancellation of these tenders has led to this delay of supplying fertilizer to our farmers? Thank you.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think what the Honourable Member is referring to is pretty much a legacy issue. That yes, when we took over and we just came into office, there were a number of cancellations. I don't think that we are actually dealing with that matter presently. This new Dawn administration places very great emphasis on using agriculture as a means of actually improving our GDP in this country. Madam Speaker, we do expect that come 2024, the yield will definitely show that we actually place agriculture front and center. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Bwengwa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. Minister, thank you very much. Minister, 17,000 metric tons of fertilizer. That's a lot of money, almost $70 million, equivalent to 1.5 billion kwacha, okay, the new currency, and the old currency, 1.5 trillion kwacha. That's a lot of money. And here is a government of PF, the previous government. Imagine awarding such a tender and giving, okay, a contract and paying that person, no, that company, that amount of money, huge amount of money, taxpayers' money, imagine. Don't you think, Minister, that that money, the reason why it was paid in advance before the delivery, that money, it was stolen by PF so that they can use it for campaigns for 2021. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Member for Bwengwa, kindly withdraw the word stolen and replace it with a better word.
Don't you think that that money, which was paid to Neria Investment, was just one of the monies which was plundered by the PF to facilitate their campaigns, which they even lost the general election in 2021. Thank you very much.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that very important follow-up question. Madam Speaker, I must say that this country had faced numerous problems in the past. This country has lost lots of monies in the past. And it is in areas such as agriculture, and also in areas such as procurement of petroleum products, that a lot of, things went missing. But, Madam Speaker, as a lawyer myself, I am cognizant of the fact that this matter is before the courts, and therefore I shall not be sub judice. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Chitambo, since he had raised the matter during the segment of urgent matters for public importance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to know who the supplier is in the case of Chitambo, and when will the farmers have their farming inputs in Chitambo delivered to their either doorsteps or to their sheds? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Not to delve into the specifics, perhaps those would come in a new question, but just to reassure the Honourable Member that this administration will provide for farmers wherever they are, as long as they're in our jurisdiction as a country, Zambia. And, Madam Speaker, this I say to all members of Parliament, that we have to ensure that this country guarantees food security, and therefore we shall not misapply any fertilizer that is intended for areas such as Chitambo. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chiengi. The Honorable Member for Chiengi.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I must say that the new Dawn government should be sincere with the farmers. And the reason why I'm saying so, Madam Speaker, because the numbers of farmers have never been increased in any way, maybe in other places. Chiengi was still only 4,000 farmers to receive fertilizer. In the meantime, we have a lot of farmers, about 23,000 farmers who have registered, and they've been paying for this same fertilizer. My question is, why is it that the government cannot just come out and tell the nation that this fertilizer is just for those 4,000, though they are sharing also in Medas? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Maybe before the minister comes in, there's an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Member for Chitambo, what is your point of order?
My point of order, Madam Speaker, is on the answer that I've received from the Acting Minister. I asked, Madam Speaker, to find out who the supplier is in Chitambo, and when will the farmers get their fertilizer. Madam Speaker, Standing Order 65 is very instructive in the manner in which we provide information on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, the people of Chitambo want to hear when and who the supplier is, so that we can maybe make a follow-up ourselves. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chitambo may wish to know that actually this question, which is there, was for Kasenengwa. But however, I have allowed members to ask questions on other issues pertaining to the matter that is being discussed on the floor of the House. I don't know whether the Honorable Minister has got information now about Chitambo. I'm going to ask the Honorable Minister if he has that information, as he is asking the question that was raised by the Honorable Member for, who was on the floor? Chiengi. Maybe to factor that question as well, who the supplier was, and if at all you know when the inputs will be supplied to Chitambo. The Honorable Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in my response to the area Member of Parliament for Chitambo, I did state that that is an issue that would have required specifics, and that perhaps those specifics would have been given in another question. Madam Speaker, the area member of parliament is wishing to compel me to give misinformation, which I shall not do. That was my response. And therefore, his point of order is quite misplaced.
The Honorable Minister will continue answering the questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. As far as now, because of that disturbance by the Honourable Member for Chitambo, Madam Speaker, what was the question from the Chiengi?
Sorry about that. The Honorable Member for Chiengi, in your own words, what is your question again? We disturbed the Minister because of that.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Well, laughter is good, and it's healthy to laugh anyway. But Madam Speaker, through you, I would like to find out from this government why it's not informing the public of the whole truth that the deficit that we're talking about is because, for example, in Chieng, we've got 4,000 registered farmers, and 23,000 registered farmers, and 4,000 are the only ones who are marked for, to receive. Now, my question was, why can't the government just tell the nation the truth, that this is what they can give? Because as it now, those who have registered in Chieng, they are sharing the fertilizer and the other farming imports. So that's my question was, why can't this government just come out and tell the nation the whole truth? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's all come back to me now. The Honourable Member for Chiengi, as a matter of fact, contradicts herself when she states that on the one hand, the close to 23,000 farmers that have registered have also been paying their contribution of 400 kwacha. Madam Speaker, this system that we run for FISIP would not allow a member that is not registered to actually be able to contribute the 400 kwacha. As a matter, if they have paid their 400 kwacha, it means they are on the register, and it means this government will ensure that they shall receive their implements. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according the people of Katombola to ask a follow-up question to the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, the money involved, the money that was paid to Neria is about $70 million, translated simply to about 1.9 billion, which to the people of Katombola appears to be a mechanism of routing national resources. Now, what measures have you taken, Honorable Minister, to ensure that the civil servants that paid that money in full to Neria have been disciplined? What measures have you taken? Because it's very strange that people will be paid in full for fertilizer not yet supplied. I thank you, Honorable Minister.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, indeed, I think that we are dealing with colossal sums of monies which this government has lost as a result of the negligence of those that are contracted to specifically perform on those particular contracts. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member asked what we are doing. As I stated earlier, this matter has since been handed over to the investigative wings. The matter, as I understand, is before the courts of law. And as the Honourable Member has seen in many other cases, Madam Speaker, this government is recording success in recovering that which this administration has lost through frivolous and, unscrupulous ways of doing government work. The Honourable Member must rest assured that this administration will not rest until all pennies that have been lost are brought back so that we can then serve the Zambian people prudently. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Wacha.
So thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for, for the opportunity. Minister, you indicated as we are giving answers to the previous questions that in 5-6 days' time, your government is going to finish all the procurement processes as regarding fertilizer. Is it your government position or government assurance in the House this afternoon that that will be actualized in the 6 days remaining, excluding weekends, that is Saturday and Sunday? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I have no doubt that the honourable member was paying attention when I was giving a response to the question. And what we are dealing with is not the overall procurement process. Those have already been dealt with. It is the deficit of 17,500 metric tons with which we need to deal with as a legacy issue. And therefore, there is nothing untoward in terms of committing that, yes, indeed, we shall make good on that particular aspect. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
I'm grateful, Madam Speaker, to allow me to ask a question, a follow-up question. However, my question has already been taken away by one of the honorable members. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We'll give that slot to the Honorable Member from Mbabala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the wonderful answers. I just didn't get it clear whether there has been any mitigation measure to the farmers that were expecting to get that from NERIA, if there have been met any contingency measure to meet their need. What they were allocated, those farmers who didn't receive from this NERIA, as swindled by PF.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, the current procurement that I'm making reference to as regards the 17,500 metric tons is really what is mitigatory insofar as the farmers that had been disenfranchised during that particular farming season is going to deal with. Madam Speaker, thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kantanchi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Agriculture, you know very well that all government contracts are well protected in as far as payments before they are made. You know that when an advance is being awarded to a contractor or to a supplier, there's an advance bond, meaning you're covering both sides, the supplier or the contractor as well as government money. Now, with reference to the 17,500, which colleagues have referred to, close to, is it $70 million, and the matter you have said is in court, why didn't the government simply cash in the bond that, the performance bond that was attached to the contract, as opposed to what you have explained that the matter is in court? Because that's how all government contracts are, by standards that Zambia Procurement Authority has provided under the Ministry of Finance. Thank you very much.
The Acting Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that brilliant follow-up question. It would appear, Madam Speaker, that the reason why we are in court is specifically because of matters such as this. I will not speak to what the previous administration did, Madam Speaker. It would appear that such contracts were not even secured by those bonds, and this is why we've ended up in court. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
We have to make progress. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 15 of 2023. Second reading.
The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Maybe switch on the mic. We didn't hear the...
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time.
The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Any debate? The Acting Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank you for the opportunity given to me to present my statement on the Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill of 2023. As you are aware, the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry is responsible for promoting the practice of marketing in Zambia through the Zambia Institute of Marketing. The Zambia Institute of Marketing, that's ZIM, was established under the repealed Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 14 of 2023 of the laws of Zambia, which was replaced by the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022, an act to continue the existence of the Zambia Institute of Marketing and redefine its powers and the functions, promote and enhance the marketing profession, provide for the registration of marketers, and regulate the practice and professional conduct, repeal and replace the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act 2003, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. During the implementation of the Act, it has been observed that the definition of the word marketing in Section 2 of the Principal Act contains the words public relations and therefore subjects public relations professionals to provisions of this Act, which has necessitated the proposal to amend the Act in order to harmonize it to the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communications Act. Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022 is being amended in order to harmonize it with the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and the Communications Act number 11 of 2022 by deletion of definition of marketing in the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act and substituting it with the following definition. And I quote the substituting: marketing, in inverted commas, means a societal process by which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want through creating, offering, and freely exchanging products and services of value with others, and includes advertising, sales, management, personal selling, marketing communications, publicity, sales, promotions, exhibitions, branding, packaging, merchandising, distribution, warehousing, wholesaling, franchising, retailing, social marketing, digital marketing, international marketing, marketing research, marketing consultancy, business development, customer service, customer care, and service marketing. Madam Speaker, this amendment is supported by the guidance provided by the Attorney General on the need to ensure laws do not conflict. Further, the rule of law requires that a latter act overrides an earlier enacted act where there is conflict in law. In this particular case, it is understood that the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022, which was an earlier act, is subservient to the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communications Act number 11 of 2022, as it relates to the regulation of public relations. This, therefore, informed the proposal to amend the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022 by providing a new definition of marketing. The object of the bill is to amend the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022 so as to harmonize it with the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communications Act number 11 of 2022. The Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill 2023, once enacted, will be implemented by the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry through the Zambia Institute of Marketing. Madam Speaker, the amendment of the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022 takes into consideration the need to have all commercial marketing activities, including those undertaken by public relations officers, regulated by the Zambia Institute of Marketing. The Zambia Institute of Marketing Act, which is the principal act, whereas all activities relating to public relations that are non-commercial to be regulated by Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communications. This will ensure fairness in the marketing profession and avoid creation of possible loopholes for misconduct by players in the marketing space. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the amendment of the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022 will harmonize the two laws without compromising the regulation of marketing activities and that of public relations. I would like to urge the honorable members of this august House to fully support this bill. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Any further debate? The chairperson of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labor Matters, the Honorable Member for Mwandi.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I beg to present the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labor Matters on the Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill number 15 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 15th November 2023.
You may proceed, Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, in line with its terms of reference, the committee considered the Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill number 15 of 2023 and now has the honor and privilege to present its report on the bill. Madam Speaker, I wish to state that from the onset that the marketing industry is one of the key components of the economy, which is fostering innovation, driving commerce, and connecting consumers with the products and services they need. However, to ensure continued growth and effectiveness of this vital sector, it is imperative to adapt and evolve with the dynamic changes on the global market, especially with regard to harmonizing pieces of legislation. Madam Speaker, the committee is concerned that the definition of the word marketing in Section 2 of the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act number 2 of 2022 contains the words public relations, which subjects public relations practitioners to the provisions of the Act. Madam Speaker, in order to address this concern, the committee is of the view that the definition of marketing must explicitly acknowledge the inclusion of all commercial marketing activities, including those conducted by public relations officers. Under the regulatory supervision of the Zambia Institute of Marketing Act, additionally, non-commercial public relation activities should fall under the ambit of the Zambia Institute of Public Relations and Communication Act 11 of 2022. Madam Speaker, this recommendation is pivotal in establishing a clear distinction between commercial marketing and non-commercial public relations, while ensuring that each falls under its own respective legislation. This will ensure uniformity and coherence in the regulatory framework of these distinct but yet interconnected entities. Madam Speaker, I wish to urge all honorable members to support the committee's recommendations as it is fundamental in establishing a structured and systematic approach to governing both commercial marketing activities and non-commercial public relations. Madam Speaker, allow me to further state that the enactment of the bill will not only benefit marketers, but will also have a positive effect across various sectors, elevating consumer trust, encouraging innovations, and fostering economic growth in Zambia. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, allow me to render my sincere gratitude to you and the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia for the guidance and support rendered to the committee throughout its deliberations. Gratitude also goes to the stakeholders who rendered both their written and oral submissions to the committee. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Any further debate? I see none. The Acting Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry wind-up debate.
Madam Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record the Ministry's thanks to your committee, especially the chairperson, in the way they deliberated. The recommendations contained in the report are in a way in line with what we are trying to do in this particular bill. But we hear some of the intricate matters that are raised, such as the need to differentiate between commercial marketing and also non-commercial PR. This will be looked at. But the very fact that the Honorable Chair has recommended that this bill be supported, also the silence from the whole House, is indicative of the support that this House has for this particular bill. I would like to thank the House for this support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Let the bill be read a second time.
The Zambia Institute of Marketing Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2023.
Can we lower our voices? Committee stage to be taken when?
Friday, 24th November 2023, Madam.
Committee stage to be taken on 24th November 2023. Next order.
The Judicial Training Institute of Zambia Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2023. Committee stage.
The House will now resolve into committee.
The Judicial Training Institute of Zambia, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 14 of 2023. Clause 1, short title, any debate, any objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, interpretation, any debate, any objection? Clause 2 is agreed to. Clause 3, establishment of Judicial Training Institute of Zambia. Any debate, any objection? Clause 3 is agreed to. Clause 4, seal of institute. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 4 is agreed to. Clause 5, functions of institute. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 5 is agreed to. Clause 6, council of institute. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 6 is agreed to. Clause 7, functions of council. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 7 is agreed to. Clause 8, tenure of office for members and vacants. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 8 is agreed to. Clause 9, proceedings of council. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 9 is agreed to. Clause 10, committees. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 10 is agreed to. Clause 11, allowances. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 11 is agreed to. Clause 12, disclosure of interest. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 12 is agreed to. Clause 3, registrar, secretary, and other staff. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 13 is agreed to. Clause 14, funds of institute. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 14 is agreed to. Clause 15, financial year. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 15 is agreed to. Clause 16, accounts. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 16 is agreed to. Clause 17, annual reports. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 17 is agreed to. Clause 18, immunity. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 18 is agreed to. Clause 19, prohibition of publication or disclosure of information to unauthorized persons. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 19 is agreed to. Clause 20, registrar. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 20 is agreed to. Clause 21, guidelines. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 22, regulations. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 22 is agreed to. Long title. Any debate? Any objection? Long title is agreed to. The bill will be reported to the House as having gone through the committee stage without amendments. Madam Speaker, I have to report to the House that the Committee of the Whole House has gone through the Judicial Training Institute of Zambia, Bill, National Assembly, Bill number 14 of 2023 without amendment.
Day for third reading.
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Third reading of the bill to be taken on tomorrow. Next order.
Estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional and statutory expenditure. Committee of Supply. Resumption of committee work.
The House will now resolve into committee.
When business was interrupted yesterday, Tuesday, 21st November 2023, the Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024, presented to the National Assembly in September 2023, was considering Head 53, Minister of Green Economy and Environment, and Dr. Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe, had just finished debating. Any further debate? Mr. Mulewa?
Mr. Speaker, the people of Kaflafuta would like to thank you for this opportunity to debate this head under the green economy. At the first glance, Mr. Speaker, I thought that, again, I'm a very generous human being. I thought that had we had resources as a nation, this figure should have gone up to enable them, in particular, operate efficiently. I go for Zema because I think I've related to them very, very closely. Sometimes I've had to provide my own transport to try and help them out in one or two chores. I think that the Minister of Green Economy needs immense support over this head, because looking at the work that they are trying to accomplish is quite enormous, needing a lot of money to ensure that they are effective in what they are doing. I'm saying this because where I come from, a few years ago, pardon my use of a few years ago, because when I was growing up, there were certain places that we knew as forest reserves in our area. And as a young boy, there were people that we used to be told that this one is Kapenda Mavula, meaning that's the nickname they were given from the community anyway. And looking at this, the state then that we had with our forests and our current state, I think that our area is a sorry sight, in the sense that all the trees in the country, rather in the area, have been cut down, and we are left with nothing. And I know that change, environmental change is real. So I'm simply trying to argue on behalf of the green economy that this bill ought to be strongly supported, as I've already said, so that their work is made easier and they work efficiently. I note that Zima also works under green economy, if my study is correct. And I wish to get back to that wing of government and say, first of all, they just don't need an addition to their budget, but I think they need to have money, they need to have teeth, sorry, so that they can begin to bite. If they have any teeth, then they are not using them. I say so because there are a lot of issues that the institution has acted or behaved like they do not have a mandate from government. An example I can give is there are people that have cried from my area who have been displaced by investors without being compensated. And the best example I give in this case is Dangote Industry, a multinational company that has handled the people in the area in a very, very rough way, very, very unkindly. So I think that this institution does not only need the money, but I think they need to be
clinical in the way they deal with most of these cases. We have situations where poor people who have nothing have been seriously victimized, and when we run to Zema to say, look, we need help here, they haven't been of much help. And they've behaved and acted as though they did not have authority from the government. So I really wish we could have a situation where their weight is felt. And I know that they are here and they know what I'm talking about. When I talk about the Dangote issue, they know exactly what I'm referring to. We have people that, again, are fighting with Nelkant at the moment in my area because they've lost their gardens to Nelkant. And my rush to Zema has proved to be fruitless. So I wish to strongly urge this institution, much as we support this budget, we would also want to feel that you are relevant to our nationals and that we have a human heart as we are operating in these offices. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I wish to talk about, obviously, I talked about the cutting of the trees and so on, but we have people in our area that go to Congo to order charcoal, and when they bring this charcoal into Zambia, they walk for 40, 50 kilometers only to have the people from the forestry department confiscate their charcoal, which I think is very, very wrong. And we hold these offices to save human beings. So when we hold these offices, we ought to work and operate with humility, knowing that we are not the best in the nation, but we tend to be fortunate that we are in this position. So people that are less privileged must be treated with kindness and care. The behavior by the forestry department leaves a lot to be desired. Grabbing charcoal that has been bought from Congo, and in the end, the officers themselves sell that charcoal, is something that I think needs some serious attention and serious reaction, because people from my constituents are really, really frustrated by this gesture, having people that work as though they didn't have a human heart. So with these few words, Mr. Chairperson, I wish to make this submission on behalf of the people of Kaflafuta. I thank you.
Mr. Mtinta.
Mr. Chair, I need to be protected. Thank you so much, Chairperson, for giving the people of Itese an opportunity to comment on this important head number 53, which is the Ministry of Green Economy. Mr. Chairperson, allow me to mention that this ministry, which is fairly a new ministry, Mr. Chairperson, it has a very huge mandate of ensuring that there's environmental sustainability, there is climate adaptation in this country, and also there is sustainable environmental conservation. Mr. Chairperson, climate change, which is one of the key issues that this ministry looks at, has slowly become a reality. Droughts, Mr. Chairperson, they've become the order of the day. Each and every year, we anticipate these droughts. Flooding, and my constituency is always a victim, it stays of these floods. Extreme temperatures, Mr. Chairperson, the past 1 week, it has been hell because of climate change. Threatened food security, Mr. Chairperson, is becoming the order of the day. Our farmers have gotten the fertilizer on time, first in the history of this country, but there is a lot of uncertainty with the rainfall pattern as a result of climate change. Mr. Chairperson, this ministry, this year we have seen a steady increase in their budget by about 5%. The people of Itestezi, Mr. Chairperson, they're excited, but we feel we could have done much better considering the fact that climate mitigation is very critical in also strengthening our GDP, and the losses that we are facing as a country because of the effects of climate change, Mr. Chairperson, they are just too huge to mitigate. Therefore, this ministry, we feel that the budget could have been enhanced a bit more than the 5% increment that we have seen this year. However, we feel this is a demonstration of goodwill, and we are looking forward perhaps next year or a supplementary budget that is going to see an additional amount of money allocated to this important head, Mr. Chairperson. Allow me to quickly comment on one of the key aspects of this ministry, the component of ZEMA. I know there is a slight increment on the budget, but we strongly feel, Mr. Chairperson, we have all seen what has been happening with ZEMA. There's been a lot of lawlessness, which we feel by enhancing this budget, we are going to address a lot of legacy problems that we've been facing as a country. There was the Lower Zambezi issue. All those issues, Mr. Chairperson, they are as a result of not having strong environmental regulation, and also not having strong environmental protection, and also not having strong environmental management. And that is the reason why we wanted and we want to see this budget strengthening the role and the function of ZEMA. We are talking about, Mr. Chairperson, a lot of illegal logging which is taking place right now, including in my own constituency in Itestezi. We are facing a challenge of illegal logging. We are facing a lot of challenges around pollution. There are a lot of fires everywhere, and ZEMA has to be everywhere to ensure that there is compliance and ensuring that there is a lot of mitigation and protection of our environment through the functions which ZEMA has to play. Right now, Mr. Chairperson, we are aware that this year ZEMA employed a small number of people that are, they employed a small number of inspectors, but we want these inspectors, Mr. Chairperson, to be employed annually and across the country so that the illegalities which are taking place in Itestezi, they should be observed, and the measures to mitigate these challenges to be put in place immediately. The number of forest guards that we have under forest, also, Mr. Chairperson, we needed this budget to address. This country is very vast. We cannot have only about 99 forest guards across the country. The same way that we are recruiting these border guards, we needed to recruit forest guards so that we preserve our forests. Mr. Chairperson, we are aware that as a country, annually, we lose close to 300,000 hectares of forest every year. Come to my constituency, Mr. Chairperson, come and see the level of deforestation which is going there. We are putting our country at risk, and Mr. Chairperson, we are also threatening our food security, and over years, we shall have a lot of challenges that we need to address as a country. Therefore, I still recommend that this budget should address issues around forest management and ensure that we reverse the bad things that are happening on our forests. As I conclude in the interest of time, Mr. Chairperson, the Meteorological Department, I want to congratulate the ministry. There are changes that we are seeing with the Meteorological Department. We need to invest in this department a little bit more. Mr. Chairperson, in this country, we own about 120 stations. We need to have stations across the country, almost in all the districts. This is what is going to bring about accuracy. This is going to ensure that we become more specific in terms of giving our people the weather forecast. The equipment, Mr. Chairperson, that is sitting under the Meteorological Department, we need modern equipment. We need equipment that will give us accurate information.
Mr. Chairperson, we are still struggling with the way the weather is defined, which also sounds like a jargon. Perhaps it's because we don't have equipment that are more accurate and closer in all the districts. We need to see party crowd and party. The language is just too complicated. Minister, we need to be too accurate. We can't be using the equipment which was left by Komoki. We need latest equipment. If someone says it's raining tomorrow, can it rain? We are not supposed to be guessing. This affects agriculture. It affects the road sector. It affects all the other sectors if you don't have accurate information. Mr. Chairperson, I want to conclude by saying we are seeing a lot of political will. Come next year, we want to see this ministry being funded perhaps double, because the amount of money which is sitting under this ministry, I suspect it is the least funded ministry across all the ministries in this country. With that, Mr. Chairperson, I recommend and I support this budget head, and we hope to see an added amount come next year. Thank you so much. I submit.
Mr. Omyima.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, for permitting the voice of Nalolo constituency to submit on this very, very important head, and indeed from the second largest opposition party in the House. Mr. Chairperson, the minister, I would like to, through you, to inform the Minister of Finance that I am reluctantly supporting this budget, Honorable Minister of Finance, through the Chairperson, because you have allocated 0.8% of the budget to a new ministry, a ministry that can attract a lot of grants and a lot of cooperating partners. And if, as a country, we cannot meet the medium-term budget plan, under the medium-term budget plan, Honorable Minister of Finance, you must not allocate less than 1% to this important ministry. But I'll commend you in one breath for improving, from moving from 0.6 last year to 0.8 of the budget this year. Honorable Chairperson, I would like to state that I come from a constituency where our community is still selling trees of rosewood for 10 kwacha, a tree that can take almost 100 years to grow, sold at 10 kwacha, and we have unscrupulous people, which includes political actors for that matter, smuggling. And I want to put it on record that I have impounded twice, and I've collaborated with his ministry, impounded 2 trucks of this unscrupulous smuggling. That is why this ministry, they need vehicles for them to be able to curb unlawful smuggling of rosewood, which is the wealth that should be used to generate our own value chain in terms of developing the wood industry. Zambia is extremely vulnerable to climate change, and we have seen that from the poor rainfall patterns. And I would like to put it on record that this ministry needs sufficient funds. Through you, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Minister of Finance, carbon tax that is collected goes into Control 99. There is no evidence that carbon tax collected is used for activities that enhance this ministry. That is why we are requesting that the climate bill should come to this House. The climate bill seeks to domesticate the Paris Agreement. And in this fact, the climate bill provides for a climate fund. Honorable Chairperson, to the Minister of Green Economy, most of the disasters that our colleagues that we're experiencing, that we are a product of climate change, most of them, the DMMU, which is a disaster management unit, should work with the
the Ministry of Green Economy, and that is why this climate bill should come also in order for us to develop a legal framework on how we manage carbon trading. Currently, we have civil societies and private sector actors engaging in carbon trading, but there is no legal framework. There is no legal framework to cap what should be the benefit of the community in this process of carbon trading. Mr. Chairperson, I would also like to commend the ministry for including in its budget issues to do with community forest management research. I would also like to commend them for including forest management in their budget. One other aspect I would like to mention is that the Ministry of Green Economy, and through you, Mr. Chairperson, the Minister of Green Economy must engage his counterpart at Home Affairs, because under the Forest Act, the police play a role in the absence of forest officers at these police checkpoints where logs are passing, like a high-flowing stream of water. The police have a role to play, and the Forest Act permits them. But it seems when we engage the police, they are blank. They are not aware that through the Forest Act, they can collaborate with the ministry in curbing illicit smuggling of logs. And I would like to also mention that it is very important that an aspect of enterprise is added to this ministry so that we can see the actual processing of these logs in this country and by Zambians. Not only in this country by foreign nationals, but by Zambians themselves. And that some of these aspects of cooperatives through CDF should be able to apply for concessions so that they themselves can buy equipment and be able to process, add value, buy and process and manufacture furniture. We have in Western Province, furniture is manufactured there, it is sent to South Africa, then again it is procured from South Africa to Zambia. And this is happening. I would like to summarize by saying that we support the minimal increase that has been placed in this very, very, very important ministry, and also would like to encourage the ministry to strongly collaborate with lawmakers, especially on commitments made by the executives at global meetings. If, for example, the executive goes to a meeting, an international meeting, and commits to end deforestation by 2030, and the members of parliament don't know that that is part of their commitment, how would deforestation end? So therefore, there must be a close correlation between commitments at a global level, commitment made, and all these agreements signed with lawmakers so that we can support your policy framework from a practical point of view. With these few remarks, I would like to support this head. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson.
Mr. Sauluvalo.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, for the opportunity given to say one or two words. As I support the budget for the Ministry of Green Economy, though the people of Sinazonga would have been very happy if this budget was tripled. I say so, Chair. I'm looking at the figure. Let me put it on the record, Chair. We are putting it on the record as the people of Sinazongwe to say we are very delighted and very happy with the way the Minister of Green Economy is handling the affairs of this ministry. Wherever issues to do with the environment are threatened, the minister finds himself to that place. He has visited the remotest part of Sinazongwe
where environmental issues were threatened. He has visited so many areas. I've watched him on TV, in all manganese mines. He has been to all areas, even where Mukula was abandoned, trying to correct the wrongs. Honorable Minister, the people of Sinazongwe are very happy with the way you are working. This shows that you are equal to the task. Honorable Minister, you've traversed this country. You've looked at how the mining firms, particularly in Sinazongwe, those which are mining coal, doing open pit mine. The source of concern that we have, Honorable Minister, as we support this head, is to say, maybe after 100 years, when these mines would have left, what will happen to those craters that are being created due to mining activities that are happening every day? What plans does your ministry have in trying to arrest the situation that will happen when we would have gone? Because we need, as investors come in to invest in these mining activities, we need to start planning together to say, what is the plan for the restoration of environment? What are they plowing back to the community, even to the government, as a way of restoring environment once mining activities are closed up? So we need to plan like that. Honorable Minister, it's high time that we, since you are a new ministry, but I suspect that carbon emission, the tax that is being collected by RATSA, Road Transport and Safety Agency, would sit very well to be collected by your officers. Because, and so that at least you monitor what is happening in your respective ministry. You need to take up what is yours. The other issue, Honorable Minister, is deforestation. There is too much deforestation, even in Sinazongwe. In this minute, cutting of mopane tree logs.
There was a point of order.
Thank you. I rise on a point of order pursuant to Standing Order number 58, which reads, a member shall stand and address the Speaker when debating the House. Is the honorable member on the floor in order to continue bending instead of standing as he addresses? Is he in order?
No, but you should also understand that he is a bit hefty. So his standing may seem as if he's... I think the honorable member may continue.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. He's trying just to disturb my line of thought. The indiscriminate cutting of mopane tree in Sinazongwe is very worrying, Honorable Minister. This has a blessing of your department. Because in some instances, those who are involved in the harvesting of this mopane tree are given permits. And you are very much, Honorable Minister, that Sinazongwe is a drought-prone area. The few trees that we have, for mopane tree to grow to a bigger size, it takes over 100 years. So what will happen to the environment? We have decided, as the people of Sinazongwe, Honorable Minister, to take this matter ourselves, because we feel we haven't gotten enough help from your department, which is forestry department. Soon I'll be reporting to you to say some trucks have been impounded so that you take action on what is happening. Sinazongwe is headed to be a desert, with your officers being present in the district. Such a situation, Honorable Minister, we need to arrest it. Another issue, Honorable Minister, that's why I wanted even the money to double, is purely because I thought it is high time that you involved honorable members of parliament in the tree planting. You needed to have a good portion of money so that at least each year, if an MP is given of even 1,000 trees to plant, we shall be restoring nature, because nature seems to have been very disturbed because of the illegal activities that are happening in the country. Those are the issues that the people of Sinazong wanted to bring to your attention and support your budget. I sincerely thank you, Chair.
Mr. Goan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairperson. I thank you. This is one of the ministries which was created by the new Dawn government upon forming government in 2021. This is a very important ministry with the key function of to bring intervention measures to reduce the effect of climate change and to protect the environment. Mr. Chairperson, one of the functions of this ministry is to reduce the deforestation in our country and promote afforestation. Mr. Chairperson, I want to appeal to the ministry to come up with the measures to, especially in schools, at least if they can come up with a deliberate policy by giving all the schools or government institutions to plant a certain number of trees in those institutions. I think you achieve the best for our country. Mr. Chairperson, the other thing that I want to talk about, in the recent past in Mpongo, there is an organization which came, which was giving each village to plant at least 50 trees. When this project ended, I think this project has died a natural death. If this is revived, I think it will help us to conserve our environment. Mr. Chairperson, I want also to appeal to the Minister of Green Economy to consider reducing in the number of licenses given to those who are into timber business. There's a shortage of softwood in our country, and people have now indulged in cutting timbers from our natural forest. So if the number of licenses given is controlled or reduced, I think we'll be able to conserve our environment. Mr. Chairperson, the other thing that the ministry should come up with is to give empowerment to those who are into charcoal business. I think we can't just stop them because that's the way of living. And most of them, they are farmers, but they don't have enough capital to buy fertilizer and seeds. But if these people are empowered, I think they will reduce into charcoal burning. Mr. Chairperson, the other thing I want to appeal to the Ministry of Green Economy is to work on improving the budgets allocated to ZEMA. Allocating enough budget to ZEMA will mean that ZEMA will decentralize in all districts, and ZEMA working hand in hand with the ministry also contributes to reduce the effect of climate change in our country and protect our environment. Mr. Chairperson, I also want to appeal to the Ministry of Green Economy to also buy new equipments to improve the meteorological department so that our farmers will be able to get accurate information when to plant and when to prepare their farms. Mr. Chairperson, most farmers in our country, they don't know what time to plant because they don't have accurate information about our weather forecast. Mr. Chairperson, Meteorological Department working hand with the Ministry of Agriculture, I think it will help our farmers to have more information about to go about agriculture activities. Mr. Chairperson, this ministry should be well funded so that it employs a lot of people in this ministry to work in our districts to conserve our environment and protect our country and reduce the effect of climate change. Mr. Chairperson, the people of Mpongwe, since they depend in farming, they want to see to it that this ministry improves and contributes to the conserving our environment in our country, because if there's no control measures, it will mean that one time there will be no rains, and if there will be no rains, our farmers in our district and the country at large will not produce any food, and it will contribute to the poverty in this country. Mr. Chairperson, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment, wind up debate.
Mr. Chairperson, let me sincerely thank the members of Parliament for the quality debates. I want to thank Dr. Mwanza, Kawata Strongman, Mr. Murebwa, Mr. Mtinta, Honorable Wamnyima, Sinazongwe Strongman, and Honorable Nkoani. They are all in agreement that the issues of climate change are important issues, and these are issues which we must pay very particular attention to. Mr. Chairman, all the members without exception supported this budget. Chairperson and all the members bemoaned, obviously, the small size of the budget. Chairperson and all members actually recognized the need for better environmental protection, for the need to better control pollution, particularly from the mining sector, from the agriculture sector, and other sectors. Chairperson, I think the debate also centered on ZIMA, Zambia Environmental Management Authority, and the need, first of all, to empower it. Members acknowledged the good political will to ensure that ZIMA delivers on its mandate. Indeed, members recognize that there are legacy issues there. And these are legacy issues which we are dismantling one by one. What was also gratifying, Mr. Chairperson, was the fact that members want to be involved and involved more closely with issues of environmental protection. Mr. Chairperson, to this end, we believe that the ministry, working together with members of Parliament, can make a difference. I also basically want to urge members of Parliament to do more. I remember a few months back when members of Parliament were bemoaning the issue of the high rate of deforestation and the need to plant more trees, we tabled a request that from the CDF funds, why can't we allocate an amount of money for tree planting, for example? Whilst on one hand, we are bemoaning the high rate of deforestation and the need to plant, on the other side, it's this same house which has been allocating a small budget to the ministry. So we urge members of parliament basically to do more. Indeed, members recognize the need for better mitigation efforts, better adaptation efforts, and the need to build resilience. Indeed, the meteorological department, as members of parliament submitted, needs more equipment, needs more funding. The meteorological department is very, very important to ensure effective disaster risk reduction so that lives are protected, so that infrastructure is protected. And indeed, you want to assure members of parliament that the procurement and installation of automated weather stations speaks to this. Now we have effective early warning systems. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, indeed, let me inform members of parliament that the ministry works very, very closely with the DMMU. As a fact, we are one of the biggest contributors to their planning, to their responding to all these disasters. Carbon tax, we have regulations, and these regulations have been publicized, but I can only imagine that we need to do more. But to also encourage our local communities that the reason we bring investors in the communities is because even in making gains from the carbon markets, you need investment. So we will be explaining this a little bit more. On weather dissemination, the weather data is complicated, yes indeed, and it's a reason why I'm sure you've seen that the ministry is now interpreting meteorological data into the local languages, and also working very, very closely with the Minister of Agriculture. Actually, as a matter of fact, we've been training agriculture extension officers. Mr. Chairman, due to time, let me just sincerely thank all members of Parliament for supporting this bill, and I believe that together we can live a livable earth for ourselves and our children. Mr. Chairman, I thank you.
Head 53, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. Head total 812,238,932. Any debate? Any objection? The question is that Head 53, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, head total 812,238,932 stands part of the estimate. Mr. Msanje.
Sorry, I had indicated to debate on that head, which has been already closed by the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
Then you have to switch off the gadget. Mr. Mwambazi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I have a few clarifications on Head 53, which is Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. Subhead 2155, Subprogram 003, Forest Research and Development. I just want clarification from the Minister. There's just a slight increase from 1.2 million to 1.6 million. And I want to know what kind of research they can carry out looking at how this ministry is highly technical. Then I proceed, Mr. Chairman, to program 5157, Meteorological and Weather Services. There's forecasting and research services from 18.7 to 22 million, and looking at high tech and how some of these equipments they need to for awareness, preparedness, and adaptation, how the ministry intend to ensure that they have enough, they can do research in such an amount. Then I proceed also, Mr. Chairman, on program 2199008, monitoring and evaluation. Looking at so many of these issues, environmental impact assessments, monitoring and evaluation and all that, how they intend to achieve all these robust activities with 2.7 million kwacha. I thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment to respond to questions of clarification.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson, and let me thank Honorable Mwambazi for that, for these valid questions. And when you put them together, I think basically they speak to the fact that a small amount of money has been allocated. And I think in the preamble of most of the members of parliament, they bemoaned the low budget. So, Honorable Mwambazi, we wish we could allocate more money to research, because research basically is key. And by the way, I'm sure you're aware that we have a research unit in Kitwe, which needs a bit more funding to ensure that the plantations we have, for example, increase production. But to assure you that we've spoken to Minister of Finance, who we thank for obviously the 5% increment, and as suggested by members of parliament, we'll be going back to the office, to his office, to see if a supplementary budget can be allocated to us to ensure that more money is allocated to research. But also to thank Minister of Finance for allowing us soon and very soon to employ 200 guards. 200 forest guards will be employed soon. So I think we are going somewhere. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Miutu.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Page 516, program 2155 and 2155, yes. Sub-program 002, Forest Management 1. I'm worried with the reduction. There's a reduction in the funding for 2024. Why is there this reduction? Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Honorable Miuti, for that very, very important question as well. But maybe before I even answer the question is to state clearly that in the ministry, a lot of this money actually comes as project finance. So these are funds already allocated to projects. And maybe that also presents one of the problems in that monies for operations is not that much. Most of the money is already allocated. So when you see, Honorable Member, a reduction here, it basically means that this project is winding down. So less and less funding is going towards the project. So this is project finance, and the project is winding down. That's why there's a smaller allocation of funds. Mr. Chairman, I thank you.
Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. Page 518, sub-program 2155, sub-program 001, just say forestry skills development. There is an allocation of about 13 million kwacha. 13 million kwacha. It's just a comment. Is this money allocated to students studying forestry skills at Mwekela College or any other forest institute? If so, Honorable Minister,
would there be a way that our youth would participate through CDF to be accepted to study forestry programs? Because as at now, skills training are only funded, the only skills training that are accepted are those that are doing entrepreneurship courses. But looking at the importance of this ministry, would you be able to fight for students to study forestry to be funded under CDF? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Dr. Mwanza, for that very, very important question. And I want to confirm that most of this money indeed is for forest skills development at the Zambia Forest College in Mwekera. And I also want to agree with you completely, Dr. Mwanza, that indeed we will accept students funded by CDF at Mwekera. As a matter of fact, we are in discussions with the Ministry of Education as well as the Ministry of Local Government and Housing to see how this can be upscaled, knowing very well that we need a much, much bigger number of forest guards if we have to stop this very, very high rate of deforestation. We need in the region of 2,500 forest guards. And right now we have very, very few. And we have very, very few, Mr. Chairman, because of history. During structural adjustment program those days, forest guards were all retrenched, and hence the increase in deforestation. So, Dr. Mwanza, yes, indeed, we hope that we can increase this number, and one way is through CDF funding. Mr. Chairman, I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I put the question. The question is at head 53, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, head total 812,238,932 stands part of the estimates. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Head 53, Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, head total 238,932 is ordered to stand as part of the estimate. We now move to head 46, Ministry of Health. Head 46, Ministry of Health, General Policy Debate. The Honorable Minister of Health, Policy Statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Chairperson, I wish to thank you and members of this august House for giving me this opportunity to present my statement in support of the Ministry of Health 2024 budget. My statement will highlight performance of the health sector, policy direction, and planned programs to be undertaken in the year 2024. Chairperson, regarding the performance review, I wish to state that the mandate of my ministry is to provide equitable access to promotive, preventive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative quality health care services at all levels of service delivery. In line with this mandate, the ministry provides clinical care and diagnostic services, medicines and medical supplies, medical equipment, laboratory services, research services, implementation of a food and nutrition policy, the health policy, mental health policy, public health, training of staff, and management of health information systems. The ministry also implements its mandate through the following: ZAMSA, ZAMRA, Zambia National Public Health Institute, sorry, maybe I should just read them all, Zambia Medicine Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, Zambia National Public Health Institute, ZNPHI, National Institute Research
Authority, National HIV/AIDS STI/TB Council, Nursing and Midwifery Council of Zambia, Health Professionals Council of Zambia, Zambia Blood Transfusion Service, Zambia Flying Doctor Service, Food and Drug Laboratory, National Food and Nutrition Commission, Tropical Disease Research Center, and Mental Health Council. Chairperson, I'm delighted to report that the disbursement of government non-personal emoluments to my ministry in 2022 was 100%. Further, as of 31st of August 2023, we had received 89% of the allocated budget for 2023. May I take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President and the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, and indeed the New Dawn administration for this great achievement. Chairperson, around health service delivery, I would like to draw your attention to the ministry's performance with regards to health service delivery in the following areas: maternal health, community and social health programs, malaria, HIV and AIDS, TB, tuberculosis, non-communicable diseases, and health security. Chairperson, government through the ministry has continued implementing interventions aimed at reducing maternal death. Among the strategies that the ministry has undertaken is the construction of maternity annexes at health facilities. This intervention, coupled with increased midwifery services, will help reduce both maternal and neonatal mortality rates. Government has this year constructed 62 maternity annexes, out of which 43 were built by the Ministry of Health, while 19 were constructed by local authorities using the Constituency Development Fund. Further, the ministry has increased the proportion of women accessing antenatal care services before 14 weeks from 32% in 2021 to 35% in 2022. In addition, institutional deliveries supervised by skilled health personnel increased from 92.6% in 2021 to 93.7% in 2022. Similarly, postnatal coverage increased from 29.9% in 2021 to a double digit of 60.4% in 2022. The ministry also continued with the implementation of other interventions such as mentorship on maternal and newborn care, maternal death surveillance, and engagement of traditional religious leaders and community health advocates for safe motherhood. In addition, the ministry is working with community health workers to deliver maternal health services in their communities. According to the maternal and perinatal death surveillance and response data, there's been a reduction in maternal deaths from 757 in 2020 to 734 in 2022. Furthermore, the ministry is currently working to improve the emergency medical services and the referral system in order to reduce maternal mortality. In this regard, the ministry is in the process of procuring about 60 ambulances. Chairperson, my ministry recognizes the importance of community health in providing health services and taking them to the people's doorsteps so that no one is left behind. In this regard, in 2022, we employed 634 community health assistants, increasing the total number to 1,988. An additional 90 community health assistants will be employed this year. Chairperson, the burden of malaria continues to be a public health concern in the country. In this regard, my ministry has continued scaling up interventions aimed at eliminating malaria. Some of the interventions include indoor residue spraying, where 2.3 million structures representing 75% of the population were sprayed in 2022. The ministry also distributed over 1.5 million insecticide-treated nets and trained 4,500 community health workers. In 2023, we are targeting 900,000 structures in 32 high malaria burden districts. This intervention will protect approximately 3.8 million people. Chairperson, additionally, nationally, the incidence for malaria has reduced from 340 cases per 1,000 population in 2021 to 325 cases per 1,000 population in 2022. During the period from January to September 2023, we have recorded a further reduction to 321 cases per 1,000 population. Similarly, mortality due to malaria has reduced from 8 deaths per 100,000 population in 2021 to 7.2 deaths per 100,000 population in 2022. In 2023, from January to September, we have observed further reduction to 5.8 deaths per 100,000 population. This has been attributed to the increased investments by the government and our partners towards the fight against malaria. Chairperson, the ministry has continued focusing on stopping the transmission of HIV through various interventions, including awareness creation and testing. In this regard, a total of 1.2 million people, 1.2 million and 19, 1.219 million people living with HIV were put on ART in 2022 against a target of 1,271 million. You may wish to note that as of 30th June 2023, a total of 1,264 million were on antiretroviral ART against a target of 1.3 million. The ministry is on course to meet the set target due to heightened test and treatment as well as index testing and screening tools. Chairperson, TB still remains a major health concern in Zambia. For this reason, my ministry has been working hard to reduce the number of TB-related deaths through various interventions. Some of the measures that have been implemented include, among others, expanding TB diagnostic capacity and ensuring a steady supply of TB diagnostic and treatment commodities. In 2022, TB incidence remained at around 307 cases per 100,000 people. However, the success rate of TB treatment has improved, rising from 89% in 2021 to 92% in 2022. We have seen an increase in TB notifications with 54,484 cases reported in 2022 compared to 50,825 cases reported in 2021. Additionally, the successful rate for treating drug-resistant TB has increased from 75% in 2021 to 79% in 2022. Chairperson, in non-communicable diseases, NCDs account for approximately 23% of all the deaths. These diseases include heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer, mental health disorders, and injuries, among others. The ministry, in collaboration with stakeholders, have been taking steps to combat NCD through initiatives aimed at promoting healthier lifestyles, delivering effective treatment, providing rehabilitation, and offering effective palliative care. To strengthen cancer treatment, the ministry is modernizing and expanding the cancer hospital at UTH and decentralizing the treatment services to 2 additional provinces. In this regard, the ministry has embarked on the construction of cancer treatment centers in Dola and Livingstone. Chairperson, our commitment to safeguarding the nation's public health security. Oh my God.
Is there a problem, Honorable Minister?
Just make it big. Chairperson, our commitment to safeguarding the nation's public health security remains key. To this end, I want to assure this August House and the public at large that we are dedicated to combating various public health concerns such as COVID-19, polio, measles, Ebola, cholera, and anthrax. To ensure public health security, my ministry, working with ZMPHI and other key stakeholders, are actively involved through surveillance and disease intelligence, emergency preparedness, and response capabilities. Health system strengthening, Mr. Chair, let me outline the ministry's achievements in health system strengthening, which are meant to support smooth healthcare service delivery, and these include human resource for health, medicines and medical supplies, physical infrastructure, transport, and medical equipment, healthcare financing, policy and legal frameworks, leadership and governance, health information, research, and innovation. In the interest of time, I'll highlight the ministry's performance only on a few of these. Chairperson, the ministry is focused on increasing the number of healthcare professionals in the sector to improve quality of healthcare services. In 2022, 13,495 health workers were recruited and assigned to all facilities in the 116 districts in the country. Of this number, 11,276 were new recruits, 2,294 were replacements. Further, the ministry has begun the recruitment process for the 3,000 health workers, which is expected to be completed by the end of 2023. Ensuring the availability of medicine, Mr. Chairperson, medical supply is the top priority for our government. I'm pleased to report that we have so far received 14,000 of the projected 42,000 health center kits, and we continue to receive bulk medicine and medical supplies from government to government initiative and other procurement agencies through UNICEF and UNFPA. Chairperson, regarding policy focus, I would like to highlight the 2024 budget and key programs to be implemented, which include human resource for health, medicines and medical supplies, physical infrastructure, medical equipment, and key areas of health service delivery. Chairperson, I would like to inform the esteemed House that the budget allocation for the health sector for the year 2024 has been increased to 20.9 billion from 17.4 billion in 2023. This translates into 11.8% of the national budget. From the sector's allocation of 20.9 billion,
Honorable Minister, may you wind up?
Yes, sir. Let me see how I can wind up. Thank you, Excellency. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the sector's allocation of 20.9 billion, the allocation to the ministry has increased to 18.7 billion in 2024 from 16.1 billion in 2023, representing a 16.5% increase. From the 16.5 billion allocation, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairperson, 7.6 billion has been earmarked for non-personal emoluments programs, while 9.1 billion has been allocated to personal emoluments. There is also a 2 billion which is coming from the cooperating partners. So you can see that a lot of money from the 18.7 billion, only 2 billion is coming from cooperating partners, the rest is internal. Among the key programs benefiting from this, Mr. Chairperson, is that of the 7.6 billion, the following will be allocated. 4.9 billion will be used to procure medicines, 795 for medical equipment, 39.7 million for ambulances, 454 million for infrastructure. And then, Chairperson, I want to state that the Hospital Services Program in 2024 received an allocation of 308.5 million, which is an increment from 293.7 million in 2023. Chairperson, you may also wish to note that we've had a number of maternal deaths, and to this effect, the budget to address the situation, the ministry has increased the allocation to the provincial blood centers to 35.5 million in the 2024 budget from 13.4 million in 2023. Chairperson, in order to mitigate the gains in health worker recruitment, we will be recruiting 4,000 workers in 2024. And regarding the statutory bodies, I have one more page, Chair. The ministry is implementing Section 18 of the Zambia Medicines Act of 2019. To this effect, Mr. Chairperson, I want to inform you that in 2024, we will operationalize the fund for drugs. And there's 4.9 billion in the 2024 budget from 4.6 billion in 2023. With regards to infrastructure development, government will focus on new projects, especially in disadvantaged provinces, in particular Western, Northwestern, Central, and some selected districts in all the 10 provinces. In this regard, the Ministry of Health has increased the allocation from 229 million in 2023 to 454 million in the 2024 budget. Of course, part of this money will go towards the 2 cancer treatment centers in Dola and Livingston, and also completing the hospital for the specialized hospital for mother and child. With regard to the provision of quality services at all levels, the ministry will focus on improving key performance indicators for malaria, HIV, AIDS, TB, child health, reproductive, environmental, and nutrition. Overall impact of the policy, we expect that there will be positive outcomes in the health agenda. Chairperson, I would like to conclude my statement by emphasizing that in 2024, 2024, my ministry will continue to strengthen and scale up high-impact, evidence-based health interventions across all levels of care. And what is interesting in this budget, Mr. Speaker, is the primary health care, which is moving to the district level. So resources will go direct to the district for some of our primary health functions. With this, I wish to pay special tribute to our cooperating partners who have been instrumental in their support to the health sector. Finally, I urge your members of this august House to support, and thank you, Mr. Chairperson, for your indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you. I must inform the House that the whips, both whips from the PF and the ruling party, the government chief whip, they've availed the list that I'll follow. So I'll start with the PF, Mr. Kapianga.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairperson, for this opportunity to contribute to this very important head. Mr. Chairperson, a health nation is indeed a wealth nation, and the allocation of 16 billion to the Ministry of Health is a welcome move. Currently, Mr. Chairperson, we have a dire situation where most of our health facilities have no drugs, have no equipment such as CT scans, X-rays, MRI. Even a very big institution such as UTH, the only MRI is broken down, Mr. Chairperson. With this allocation, we anticipate that there will be...
Order. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break. Thank you.
Right, business has been suspended, and under consideration is head 46, the Ministry of Health. The minister has just presented the policy statement, and the opportunity has been granted to Pika Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapianga, to make his contribution, and we expect him to pick up debate when we come back from break.
Yes, and of course the House has also considered head 53, which is the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, and other matters that have been considered on the floor of the House. Questions for oral answer, understanding order 76, and this was question number 148, which came from Mr. Twasa Kasenengwa, Member of Parliament, and posed the question to the Minister of Agriculture. Details will come in later.
Right, just for now, we take a break. We'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and Parliament Radio. For more information, call 0977 854102 or 0977 536487. Parliament Television, bringing Parliament closer to you.
The participation of citizens in decision-making processes is essential for ensuring accountability and transparency in the governance process of the country. In order for Parliament to operate effectively, there must be a well-structured strategic plan that speaks to its aspiration. The role of Parliament and parliamentarians is fundamentally grounded on public engagement. It is for this reason that the National Assembly of Zambia officially launched the Zambia Communication Strategy 2022 to 2026 and my e-Parliament mobile application at Parliament buildings on Thursday, 16th November 2023. Speaking during the official launch, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Nelly Muti MP, said that the National Assembly of Zambia has developed the Communication Strategy 2022 to 2026 for the purpose of ensuring that it is effectively utilized.
National Assembly of Zambia Communication Strategy 2022 to 2026 will serve the overall objective of reinforcing the National Assembly of Zambia ability to effectively communicate and relate with key stakeholders so as to make Parliament open and accessible to the public. Specifically, the communication strategy will help our institution to, 1, enhance the participation of citizens in parliamentary committees and other parliamentary activities. 2, improve media coverage and parliamentary reporting by strengthening the relationship with the media. 3, enhance awareness and understanding of the role of National Assembly among members of the public. The 4th, promote positive perception, raise the profile and image of the National Assembly among members of the public and stakeholders. And 5th, but not the least, strengthen the National Assembly's interaction with civil society organizations, cooperating partners, and the executive.
She further stated that in an effort to increase citizen participation in parliamentary programs through real-time interaction with their respective members of parliament, the National Assembly has also developed an online citizen consultation platform called My e-Parliament mobile application.
My e-Parliament mobile application will provide a platform for the public to access legislative documents, updates and enhance transparency and accountability in the entire legislative process. Right now there is a bill called the Access to Information Bill, and I know it has attracted a lot of attention. So once we launch this e-Parliament, members of the public will have access to this bill and be able to make an input in the formulation and finalization of this bill. So it's a good advantage to have this My e-Parliament mobile application. The mobile application can be easily downloaded and installed on any ordinary smartphone with internet connectivity. I must say that I already have it on my phone myself, so we can all do that. I think the deputy speakers also have, and we've been trained by our department, IT department, on how to operate this app. Once members of the public are registered on the application, they will be able to make